So going sort of back to our policy discussion, and there was just some things that were just a little off, and we were thinking about how to write a policy about the tone. And it's really hard if you're to be specific, like, don't put kind of like hipstery pictures of, you know, cats wearing hats, I don't know.
Why not?
It's hard to specify exactly what it is, so we had a lot of success, and I recommend you looking at this. From Lawrence Public Library. They call their policy social media principles, and it's very positive, but still gives you a nice snapshot. And so, like, for example, under their tone, they say, we will be honest and authentic, not snarky or sarcastic. And my favorite thing they have is, we will not post anything on social media that we would not say at a service desk.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah,
That's good.
And so look at that, it's real short too.
Is
It's
that
not
Lawrence,
How do you
L-A-W?
spell it? Huh?
Lawrence.
Like Lawrence.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, and I found it on a blog post, which looks like a library class. So look at that if you want sort of a quick way, and we found success. People kind of like get it now,
Great.
so.
good.
What
Is that in Kansas?
Kansas, it says.
Yeah.
When, last time we were here, Beck said something that I really liked, and it just kind of helps me personally. I think she said their social media policy at her museum is, if it gives you pause, pause. And there's like 2 other things, but to me, that was a big help. Like, if I wouldn't say it in front of, you know, everybody, I wouldn't say it at all.
Of course, the problem is that there are always those people who say everything to everyone. There's the no filter person, you know, but you know those people, so just don't make them an admin, okay? You know, I mean, just, yeah. We've all worked with those folks where you're just like,
On the
oh.
other hand, now I know a lot about them, to use against them later. So.
But that is good. When I have started to write something and I've thought, and sometimes it's not even just the content, it's the way I worded it. I'll think, you know what, slow down for a second, stop being Karen McBride, who's a little bit nutty and a little bit goofy. I can still be goofy at work, I'm very goofy at work, but, you know, maybe there's just a more appropriate way to express my goofiness. So, yeah, I like that. If it gives you pause, pause. I just wanted to show you this real quickly. We were talking about, here's the mixed creepy tree house. And, you know, this is an article from Forbes just earlier this year. When it comes to social media, consumers tell brands, speak only when spoken to. 42% of companies consider social media monitoring one of their top 3 priorities for the current year. But a recent survey from our friends at J.D. Power says that 51% of consumers simply do not want companies to eavesdrop on their conversations, and 43% believe that monitoring is an intrusion on their privacy. That is why don't just respond to everything. The girl who said that the Elam Public Library was greater than the Barrington Area Library, I was not going to respond to that. I mean, that was just going to look weird. It was just going to make her feel like, oh, why are those people looking at what I'm doing? So don't do that. Let's just, you know, let's go out on a high note. How about the Amy's Baking Company scandal? Anybody been following this?
That was crazy.
These people are insane. These people are insane. You can't be posting in all caps and then, you don't know us. They were on a reality TV show about their restaurant being lame, and that, who's the guy who swears at everybody and comes in and Gordon Ramsay came in and tried to fix their restaurant. They were so hopeless he couldn't help them, and he swore at them and walked out. And so they just went berserk on their social media. They just started screaming at people, and it's all about you. It's, you know. But here's the sad lesson, though. They've been offered their own reality TV show now because of this. You know, that's not going to happen to your library. You're not going to get a reality show out of this. So try to do this.
No reality show?
No. I think we'll stop here. I was going to present some questions based on some real things that have happened to me for the library, but we don't have to. I think you guys are probably ready to move. But
Yeah, Susan. I will help you.
She wants your help.
I will help you.
Deb, yes.
We are going live from Brookins Auditorium
There you go.
at 10:30 with Ohio. They don't think they can pan from the speaker to the PowerPoint, so we have 2 screens set up in front for the PowerPoints. You will have copies of the handout. So before you go for your break, I've announced it to the other section also. So if you see someone, we are live at 10:30 in Brookings.
Okay, there you go. Sarah, do you want to say anything to close?
If you're starting a new page, sometimes it's helpful to just shop around at other libraries like you.
Or
Um,
or not other libraries.
Or, yeah, just
Other people who are
find-
doing interesting things.
yeah,
Always
find the
kind of
tone.
Suggesting that. Find the people who are doing this really well. They don't have to be a
Yeah.
library. You can learn from them.
And when we were trying to get new followers, we were really successful with a contest. If you liked us during this week, your name went into a drawing for X prize, and we got likes left and right, and that's really how we built our audience.
We
and
actually
do it
helped
once
a
a year.
local business build their audience. They had a new Facebook page. It's the Mercedes-Benz dealership in Barrington. They wanted to know if we could help them get some new Facebook followers because they were new to it. So they gave us a 1-week time span, and they said, help us promote our Facebook page, and for every like, they would give us $1. And so by the end of the week, we got like a $150 check and a big cake from them. So I mean, it was sort of crazy, but
I'd have gone for the Mercedes-Benz.
yeah. Actually,
I'll do it for a car.
I have to share this with you. They actually wanted to bring us cars, luxury cars to test drive as well, as like a reward for the staff. And my boss was like, and
Why?
well,
Yeah, that's,
see the librarians.
that's a little, yeah, that would make me a little hinky too.
It is a little weird, but anyway, so there's all kinds of ways you can do that. Andy?
Is this real?
This is real. Yeah, this is real.
What did you do?
Well, I didn't blame the guy. He was mad. I came in to work on a Monday, and this guy, like Sunday night, had said, the librarians and children's department need to be trained. No one seems to know what they're doing. You get different answers from different people. I sensed some frustration. This was on Facebook, so I knew his name. So I sent him a personal message from the library and just said, I'm so sorry. It sounds like something negative happened. Here is the name of her head of youth services, and here is her email. Would you please contact her, let her know what happened, so we can try to prevent this problem? And he did that, and it turned out that 2 people working that Sunday had different ideas about a policy, and they were both wrong. He was absolutely right. They needed to be trained. And so in that, he sent a nice note later saying, thank you for resolving this, and he was pleased with that. This was at my former library. Daily Herald wrote an article about our budget talks. And somebody wrote that comment, Now, we chose not to respond to it as the library proper, but it took about 30 seconds for somebody out there to go, are you joking? Yes, the library administrator in some communities makes a salary that large, but that's one person on the staff. And most of the people are making considerably less. I can vouch for that. So, would you respond, would you not respond? Your organization has to make that decision, but I don't think I would respond as the organization. You may not be aware, but in the state of Illinois, if the compensation packages of some of your employees total a certain amount of money, that has to be posted on a website anyway. So, they can come to our website and figure out who's making close to that amount of money. Tina?
I think you made a really good point, though. When something like that goes up somewhere, we have in our town a website called GraniteCityGossip.com. So you can imagine the stuff that goes up there. But the thing that I find very interesting is when anything goes up there about the library, most recently it was about our bond issue, which passed, thank you very much. There were other people that were stepping up in, to help and say, no, this is not true.
Right, yeah. We had the Santa Claus incident, let's just talk about it. It was painful for me. The Barrington Area Library has a long tradition of letting one of our local garden clubs come in to decorate for the Christmas holidays. Long-standing tradition. With our newer director, we have been trying to tone it down. They literally would come into our atrium, take out all the furniture, and put huge figurines, and it was bonkers. So we've been trying to tone it down, but a woman walks in last December early with a Santa Claus this big, hello, I'm from the garden club, plunks it down in a very prominent spot in the youth services department and says, have a good day, and walks out. No, is this a good place to put this? Where, nothing. It was just, here is my contribution. So we had some discussion about it. We decided with construction starting and all kinds of other things, this was not the place for Santa at this time. So we called the garden club, and we asked if they could ask her to come in and take it back. She did come back with the Daily Herald reporter and a photographer with her. And it got, we got the nice article of her standing sad-faced with the Santa outside of our library. And of course, who do they call to find out what our response is but me? It was a horrible day. My director was not in the building. The library's board president was not available. So I'm like, swimming. What was beautiful was the story went out, and again, within about an hour, there were 20 comments going, this is ridiculous. Why does this woman think she has a right to just bring decorations into a public place and put them up? There was not one comment that really defended that person's behavior. So we didn't, other than what we said in the newspaper article, we did not, further comment or anything like that. And it completely flew over, and it was nothing. No, not one other patron. In fact, someone came in to say they were equally as unhappy about the Christmas tree, and could we do anything about that? So, it didn't have the desired effect that the woman was intending.
Sometimes you have to trust that people will make themselves ridiculous, and you don't have to do anything.
Yeah.
We have a really aggressive weirdo in our community who blogs on the patch anonymously.
Oh, sure. We have one. Yeah, we have one
I
too.
would stab the patch. If it was tangible, I would, but I can't. Don't edit that out. I never said that. But this person will blog anonymously as the Lyle watchdog, and then they'll lie. They'll say the library is raising their taxes 10% on the community, and it's false.
Yeah.
I mean, no. And we know who it is because they're bullying us all the time. But they're clearly insane. And they came to a board meeting, and at first they sounded not insane, and then they kind of just kept going and kept going. And the problem is you feel so criticized and so attacked, but sometimes if you do nothing, it clears itself up. They made a Facebook page, and they tried, attacking us on there. Everybody who follows us on Facebook likes us, and so people kind of jump to our defense. It wasn't the patch.
Those things are really hard. We're managing a difficult situation with our friends at the library right now, and they did a mass mailing to the community that was full of misinformation, and it's a struggle. We had to have many meetings to figure out how do we respond. And the best way to respond to anything about your tax rates or about your policies or what is to be very transparent about what you really are doing. Make sure that all those board meeting documents and all those things are not just on your website, but are easy to find and are clear to read, so that, if people question a decision or how much are you raising my taxes, you can show them. You've got the tangible truth in front of them. It's what I kept saying that to my boss about this thing with the Friends. We have got to be open about this and let people know what actually transpired, or they're just going to believe what they're hearing from one side. And you can't really, officially, you can't take the approach of, well, that person's just a weirdo. Because maybe they are, maybe they're not. Maybe there's some, one of the things about responding in any way is you've got to be really careful. Is there any truth to what's being said? Because if there is, you really need to sit down and think about that for a minute. When that guy said the children's librarians needed to be trained, I had a feeling he wasn't a weirdo. I had a feeling he had a problem. Yeah. And he did, so you do have to be honest. I know we all want to think we're amazing and we do the most amazing things all day long, but sometimes maybe, oops, we did make a mistake, or oops, we weren't prepared. And go ahead and accept that. People will like you an awful lot if we're saying, I'm really sorry, what can we do to make that better?
We screwed up.
We screwed up, yeah.
Yeah, and say, go ahead and say, oops, maybe we didn't provide enough information. Here's the link to the thing with all of the information. That works a lot too, where you're not saying, you're wrong, even though they are wrong. And you can say, oops, our bad. Facebook sometimes, we can only post so much. Here's the link to all of the information to make sure everybody's got everything they need. Thanks so much. And just take it back on you, and most people respond really well to that.
Make sure that your staff knows how to find that stuff too. That's really important. Have it in a couple of places for them, so that if they're getting beaten up by somebody out there on the front line, they can very quickly find the board document or whatever it is that you wanted to be able to show people, and that takes the heat off of them. I'm so sympathetic about the frontline staff, because I know what they go through out there every day. Yeah. We're totally out of time. We want to give you break time, so.
Thank you.